What's going on, guys? Just want to go over some of the trades that I took today. Overall, pretty solid day in my opinion. So let's get right into it. So one of the trades I took today was OTIC. Really nice 5-minute flag into the open. You could see a high volume push into our 32 and created a high at 32, I should say. Nice low volume pullback into our 28 pre-market pivot. Ultimately, I would like to see it hold a high day pivot, but if there's a pivot like this where it's clear resistance, I'll look for that pivot to hold as support, and that's exactly what happened. So we get a nice flush into our 28 pivot over here, and I noticed that we had these two 5-minute candles with the big lower wicks, and this tells me that a lot of buyers are stepping in. So as soon as that happens, I start getting long right here. I get long at 29.7, so right into here. Add some more into 30, so right into here, and then right away we get a nice pop into 32s. Start peeling some off 31.5, peeled a little piece off at 32, didn't get any off up here, and then when we start flushing down into that 30 level, I cut the rest for break even right here. I was just looking for a quick win in this kind of candle right here. I didn't want to get stuffed on, so cut the rest, break even right here. Nice little win. I see, we did end up coming down here, double bottoming, and, ultimately picking back up, but I didn't re-add over there. My next game plan on this was to wait for the high daybreak and see if we could put in a flag up there. Overall, really nice trade. I think, we caught the flag really well right over here. Like I said, high volume push, low VPA pullback into a pivot, get long there with risk off the pivot, and, we started shooting up to new highs. Ultimately, looking at it now, I could have had a better average, could have had like low 28s, maybe high 27s. But, I wasn't very confident in it at the time because of this candle. But then when I seen, we started having these lower wicks, I was like, okay, buyers are clearly stepping in. I think, I can take an entry here and potentially get a low risk entry with, some nice reward. So that was the first trade on OTIC. Next trade was on CRBP. And this one was a really, really nice one. CRBP, you could see we have a nice, high day break, or pre-market high break, I should say. Really, really high volume. Bump right into our 19 daily pivot. Finally get the break over, and when this 5-minute candle starts holding over, that's where I start adding. If I go to the 1 minute, you could see we were forming kind of higher lows, kind of a little mini ascending triangle, higher lows, same resistance point acting as resistance. So I was comfortable getting long with, risk off 18.5s. So ultimately I get long right over here into 19.4s. And right away we get a nice pop into 21, peel some off into 21, and then we start pulling back, and this is when I start expecting the retest of the 19 pivot. However, we did pull back on the 5-minute and formed a really, really nice 5-minute flag. You can see high volume push, low VPA pullback into the pivot. And that's where I was adding more. Added more 20 cents, 19.9, 19.85, 19.45, 19.45, 19.45. So I was kind of trigger happy on this flag. I was very confident in it. High probability setup. So, we get our ads in down here again. We get a nice pop into 21s. Start peeling some off 21. Peel some off 0.28. Peel some off 0.22 into the ask. Peel more off 21.4. And then we start flushing down into here, and ultimately when we break the view up right here on this candle is when I sold my remaining at 0.196. We start consolidating over here. That's when I kind of notice this demand area on the 1 minute. You can see why this is a demand area. We have a rally base rally, so this certifies or confirms it as demand, not certifies. But yeah, so that was the one trade on CRBP. That one was for 11% at 21 cents. So really nice trade there. Later in the day, I noticed we get a flush into our pre-market highs, and I had this down trend line drawn. And I was actually in the gym, and I was telling myself, okay, hey, we get over this trend line, we close over it, it might be worth another long. So we get the bounce, we close over our down trend line, and this is where I get long at 17.92, 18 cents basically. And I was ultimately looking for a retest of high a day. We didn't quite get it. We kind of got 21 cents, and I was very happy with it. But I get long 17.92. We have a pop into here, VWAP. Didn't take any off. Come back in, form this lower trend line, get another push into 21, and I take some off into 21 at the ask. And I'm currently still sitting in a piece of this one. Risking off the pre-market high just because it's a significant pivot. You can see we bounced off of it very well over here on 3-5 minute candles. So we'll see. Ultimately looking for this one to, give us that gap up possibly, or start opening up into the after hours. You could see over 22, we got room into 24s and then ultimately 28s. If we really start opening up, I think we can see 30s, but we'll have to see how it plays out. It's going to need some volume, of course. Another trade I took on the day was VGFC. This one was right off the bell. Don't really like trading right off the bell, and this definitely reminded me why. So right off the bell, you could see we have this clear bottom support in pre-market of 15 cents, and into the open on the 3-minute chart, you can see we kind of started to consolidate over this with our downtrend line. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, really low risk position here. If we get this downtrend break, we could push into 17. So realistically, I'm risking like not even a penny, because if I get long in 15s and risk off 15, it's going to be like half a penny or so. And if we get that move into 17, that'll be like a 2-penny gain. And then, eventually we'll extend with some momentum. So that was my mindset on this one. So I get long 15.9, so basically 16 cents. And we ultimately just don't hold. We trade over here for a second, not much volume came in. Then we eventually break the 15 pivot, and that's when I stop out at 14.35. So small loser on this one. Not really worried about it. Idea was there, clear pivot, just didn't hold. And it is what it is. But yeah, with that being said, those are my trades on the day. And hope someone learned something from this. Hope you guys enjoy these recaps. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.